We try to get some, with a number of evaluations ongoing, we're trying to get as much live scrimmaging, with some inexperienced offensive linemen. The more looks that they can get in a live situation, the better. Defensively, we've got, some young players that need that, as well as, I want to put the quarterbacks in as many situations as possible. So that's really been the theme here is more scrimmaging with this group. We're being careful with them. Got out of it clean again today with no injuries. But they're tired, they're sore. We got some guys that, are feeling sorry for themselves, but we'll get through this. We're at the kind of the tough part of camp right now, but they're off tomorrow and light day on Monday, and we'll get them back to where they need to be. But getting a lot of work done. So, questions?
Brian, the red zone defense seemed to get the best of the offense today. How would you characterize that competition over the last week?
A lot of it, Tim, is scripted work. So for us offensively, it's installation against specific looks that we don't necessarily get defensively. So like if we wanted to game plan against some of the things that our defense does, we'd probably run the ball because we play so much two bracket, and there's some tough sledding throwing the football down there. So I don't get too worked up about it. It's really about decision making, route running, things of that nature down there. So it's really a teaching period down there, more so than keeping score as I evaluate it from week to week, and installation of plays.
That being said, with the red zone, last year you had a number of threats who could score from outside the red zone, Will and CJ and that. And obviously improving red zone touchdown efficiency is a focus, but without those deep threats, is that even more of a focus for you guys this year?
Well, we certainly got to go up and catch the football when we have an opportunity down there. We had a couple of chances. EQ didn't come down with a football down there, but we have enough guys that we certainly feel like we can get the football in the end zone with. Your tight ends are going to be involved. Certainly, the quarterbacks running the football. So I'm not really at a point where I don't feel like, it's got to come from, deep throws and big plays as much as I think we just have to be productive. And when we get our opportunities, make some catches. So we'll certainly have to do that.
Brian, have you seen the quarterbacks through a week of practice now balance the competition between themselves with being amongst the leaders on offense with the young?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at, I think you guys can probably say, who are the top playmakers on offense, and if you had 5 of them, 2 of the 5 are the quarterbacks. You saw that again today. One guy is making great checks at the line of scrimmage, getting us in great protections, getting great one-on-one matchups. And the other guy is making somebody miss in the backfield and throwing to a wide open back. And so they both have different ways of moving the offense down the field, and that continues to show itself as we move through camp. Both of them have a way to move the offense. They just move it a little bit differently.
Brian, Jerron mentioned that he felt like he showed you a 25 to 30 snap player in the spring because of his hesitancy about his injuries. He wants to show you a guy that can play more than that. Have you seen that in this first week of camp? A guy that could expand?
Yes. Yeah, we've seen more out of him. He had a little bit of a foot sprain, which would have sidetracked him in years past to probably some low rep and probably some less intensive work. And, with our GPS system and Catapult now, those numbers don't lie. And, he's maintained a heavy workload even with a slight foot sprain. So I would tell Jerron right now, if he was sitting here, that he's changed that perception of the number of reps because of the way he's practiced and the way he's handled the load.
Sean Crawford, a guy who still hasn't played it down for you guys in a game, but someone who, since the start of last year, really, you guys have been high. What have you seen out of him so far coming back about as close to healthy as he's been this month.
Well, he's a very smart football player, great instincts, and plays the ball very well. Tough. He's just a tough-nosed, hard-nosed football player with great instincts, and will be a very valuable player for us, playing outside and inside. Those are hard to come by, those kind of players. I think, his work shows itself even more when he plays that nickel position, because he can carry and cover, skilled players across the field and make plays on the ball. So very valuable player for us. And his workload has been intense, and he can handle a heavy workload.
With
Just curious
both
if-
Dexter and Josh out, Tony Jones seems to be getting a lot of work.
Yes.
Pretty good at moving the pile.
Yeah, he's a physical kid, another 210 plus back. His volume is pretty good. He can handle the intensity of the workload. Not afraid to stick his nose in there in protection. Had a couple of really good pickups. Very coachable. He's done really, really well for a freshman back stepping in there. Today was, I think it was pretty evident that, he's a kid that is reliable, and, can run physical when he's asked to. And I thought he had a nice day today. Well, I think, sure. I mean, I think with Josh and T and Dexter, and those are going to be our top three. And Tony, certainly we'd like to preserve his year if we could, but days like today, you're in pretty good hands if you do sustain an injury.
At rush end, you obviously want some speed, and Jay at 280 pounds isn't really that guy, but does he bring anything that can compensate for, maybe he's not the average 250-pound rush end, but does he bring anything to the game that compensates for that?
Yeah, he's one of our more rough and tumble physical guys. I mean, he is really physical at the point of attack. I mean, at 280 pounds, if you're a pulling guard, you have a hard time with him. So at the point of attack, he's really stout, really physical, and he's not bad as an occasional drop player into the short field. You'd never want to put him in much other than an occasional hook to flat drop player, but he certainly can do that. He can handle that. He's agile enough to play in that role. And Dalen can obviously do a little bit more. He's not as stout, but he's pretty athletic. And then we can get into our speed package as well. So they all will have a role, and they all complement what our defense will look like depending on the kind of offenses. Against the Stanford, he's going to be in against a big tackle. You'll see a lot more of him. When you get into some more teams that want to play fast and not as aggressive at the point of attack, Dalen gets, obviously his share.
And then what did you see from Betty?
Andrew is I thought had a good camp. He's played fast. He's played with great second effort. It's always about Andrew's confidence and really making sure that he believes in himself. We believe in him. And at times he's his harshest critic, and sometimes we just got to have him lighten up on himself, because he works hard. He's given us the kind of effort that we want, and we think he can give us the pass rush we need. But sometimes he beats himself up too much.
Brian, right guard, you said you've been rotating. Anybody starting to separate themselves over there?
No. I think right now, if it's probably. We've been focusing on Tristan and Colin McGovern, those two guys. We want to get Hunter some more work out at tackle. So those two have gotten a lot of the work in there. And, I think Colin's had a really good week in at the right guard position. We know Tristan's athleticism is really a big plus for him. He moves well. He got out on the screen today, and I think he normally would have cut one of our guys that was in space, but he was out on him right away and gave Torrey Hunter a great lane to pull up on on the third down screen. So his traits are really obvious. It's the learning curve, because then the next play, Jerry Tillery beats him across his face for a tackle for a loss. So, it's just that process that we're going through with him. On the other hand, Colin gives us a real steady performer in there. Knows what he's doing, knows the offense very well. So, we got two guys in there that are, really probably sharing the load right now.
Is there a time limit, as to when you want to have that cohesive?
No, well, I think we don't feel like there's not a cohesiveness in the sense that, you got Alex Bars, who's getting obviously a lot of the work at right tackle, Sam, and then the left side. So we're really just working at that right guard position right now.
Is he able to to the point where you could roll him against the first team, or is that
Oh, yeah.
a little, that's not counterproductive where they go against Mike McGlinchey?
No, and he's getting that every day, really, in terms of pass rush and when we get into our speed package. So he's getting a lot of work against Mike and faring quite well.
With Drew Tranquil, a lot of guys mentioned him as the leader. He hasn't played a whole lot due to injury. What is it about his personality that
He's a good leadership personality for these guys, even though they haven't seen a whole lot of time on the field. A lot of guys just have seemingly a lot of respect.
I think, at Notre Dame, you gain your respect both on the football field and in this campus community. He carries a 3.87 in engineering. Obviously that's tough to do if you're not a football player. So balancing both academics and what he does on the football field, he gains the respect of his teammates, just from that. As well as he's very vocal. He's not afraid to speak up. Players want that too. They want that guy that will, speak what sometimes they're afraid to say, and so he gets a lot of that attention.
Brian, with Watkins and Butler out for a while, is anybody emerging as that third corner when you want to put one on the field from?
Yeah, Nick
Coleman?
Coleman's having a good camp. Nick's maturing to the level that we were. We tried to fast track him last year, and it was, he was at Alter, he was really an offensive player playing defense. He's really a running back, but we loved his skills and his traits, and it was a lot of learning for him. And, at times it was an up and down struggle for him with confidence, but he's a lot more confident as a player. I think Nick's done a really nice job. Devontae Vaughn's done a really nice job, and Julian Love. Those three guys have really shown us that we can put them on the field against Texas, and alongside Cole, obviously. And they keep developing to the point where we feel pretty good about the depth there without Nick and Devin.
What little we've seen of Cole Luke in a couple days, he's looked really good. Has he been that way the whole week?
Well, he has been that all camp. What he's done really is he's mastered, his technique. He's always been one of our smartest defensive players, but he's never translated the smarts, if you will, with his technique. And it was kind of odd in a sense that you had this really smart football player, but he didn't translate that technique into being a really smart football player with his technique, because he's not a blazer. But he's got good speed. Now he's translated that really sound technique, and he just puts himself in really good positions to break on the ball, stay on top of it, and he's playing physical. So we expect for him to have a really big year.
It sounded like he was going to be in the mix for the right guard, and it now sounds like he's not. Do you want to get him in a tackle type?
No, we're going to keep moving him guard and tackle, and it's a long year, and we're going to continue to work with him. He's making progress, and we can see him coming along each and every day. So as a true freshman, he is light years ahead of any true freshman that we've had. Oh, by far. He's the only true freshman that I've had here at Notre Dame that we would even consider keeping with us. And that includes all these guys that are starting for us right now. So here's a guy that is still going to be with us and will still entertain the opportunity to, maybe someday this year be on the field playing for us. Good? All right, thank you.